Nice to see you again.
You as well.
I want to start by listening to the new record. Take a listen.
Drunkard in Hamburg, lost in Stadt Park, sleeping in wet grass, marching vodka. Tonight I'm a theory of long shots, forever selling you my heart.
That's a little of the song "Selling You My Heart" from Matthew Good's new album "Moving Walls." Matt Good's my guest here today. I mean this in the best way possible. I love acoustic Matthew Good.
Oh, I love acoustic Matthew Good too.
It's a lovely song.
You know, the thing about it is it's really interesting. On all the major tours that I've done that I've just done acoustically by myself, and this is nothing against the guys that I play with, because I've been playing with them for 13 years and they're like my best friends. But that to me is like the purest form of performing for me.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to say that it separates the men from the boys kind of thing, but I think as a performer, if you can go up for 3 hours and, you know, given the catalog I have, I guess like 3 hours, and you can play just by yourself with a guitar, you know, and enjoy it and have it be a pleasurable experience that people, you know, really like. I think, you know, if I could just do that, that's probably what I'd do at this point.
But I remember seeing you at the... You finally came to the Junos a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like I hadn't gone to that many either, and we had a yak.
That was the first time, man, and yeah, I got kind of convinced into it. My ex-wife was kind of like, we should. It was kind of like more of an opportunity for her to kind of go, really.
Oh, look, there's yeah. Oh, look.
Yeah, hey, let's no. It's not so much that. It's just kind of like, you know, it's good. Why don't we do it? It'll be good. It'll get rid of the kind of the stigma of why you don't go and all the rest. And, you know, I talked a lot about supporting new artists and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it was really fun. I mean, in a way that, like at the after party, at Warner after party, like I'm sitting around with like Larry LeBlanc and like guys I've known for like 30 years, and, you know, and you find yourself at the same table with all these old guys and you're all talking shop like back in the old days. So,
but I remember you did apparitions at the Songwriters Circle.
Yeah.
And that was acoustic Matthew Good. And it really wiped everybody else off the stage. Like it was just
I don't think so.
Sure, you cannot. If you agreed with that, this would be a very weird conversation.
No,
if you were like, yeah, you're right, I did. This is my feeling about it. But like, it was just a really lovely moment. And I think what I love about this record, I love rock Matthew Good too, and we're going to
I think when you bring apparitions into any equation, like in something like that, it's very difficult considering its place in kind of like the song pantheon in Canadian music, right? I mean, it's kind of up there, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to, you know, but no, I mean, I thought, you know, everybody on that stage was great.
I should be clear, yeah. I mean, I'm going to get fired for that. Everyone is good, but I liked that.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's totally cool.
What's going on? It's a bit hard to ask you about. What's going on in your life now around you're making this record in your own life?
Oh, well,
as much as you want to.
Yeah, no, after my wife and I separated, I moved in with my parents. At the time, my dad had really bad dementia. And then that summer, he fell down an entire flight of stairs, and his head went through the wall at the bottom of the stairs, and he cracked a bunch of ribs. And he was in hospital for a month. And then he never kind of quite recovered from it. And then the following kind of like late winter, spring, he was diagnosed with lung cancer. And then, you know, he went through chemo and radiation and it didn't work. And then we got the diagnosis that it was terminal. And then it went from that to being in his bones. And his dementia's gotten worse, and there's concerns now it's in his brain. He doesn't really get out of bed a lot, you know? So I basically just like live in my mom's spare bedroom in her townhouse and help out basically. So it's interesting. When I demoed this record, I had nowhere to demo it, and which is an odd thing to say for someone who's been doing this for, I mean, you look at most guys, they got their own home studios and all the rest of it. So I just got, when I left, I didn't even take anything. So I just bought a new iMac and just like an interface, and I demoed it in my parents' like tiny garage with a space. There was no heat. So it was in the winter, so it was a space heater, right? And which Warren found funny. Warren Lucy, my producer, because on like all the acoustic guitar tracks, I had them really compressed and wide open because I was using this Neumann that I have, and you can hear the space heater and everything. Actually, on Selling You My Heart, he was kind of like, we should maybe bring the space heater in to get that, to recreate that vibe. But like on, for example, like at the beginning of Fingernails, when you hear that rain, that's actually not a sample. That's actually rain hitting my parents' garage door that got caught on the demo, right? So
is that doing something for you in all this to be able to go in there and I can just think of you going through this all day. I mean, I know what it's like, to look after your folks when they're sick and they're dying, and then to be able to walk into another part of the house and just make stuff. Is that doing something for you?
it was, I don't know. The thing about it is that I think that coming into the release of this record, I tried to sit down and think to myself, how do I put this, when asked about it?
Yeah.
And I don't really know, man. There's like no answer. I just kind of did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was one of those things where it wasn't the most ideal circumstances, I mean, that's where the garbage cans are and stuff out in the garage. And, you're out there and you're just kind of like, but it was weird too in a way, because I wrote Sicily in like 4 hours, and I mean demoed it. So like all the instruments, everything, and off to Warren at 3 a.m. Right. So, yeah, it had its upsides, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the upsides. It might help you out. You know what I mean? If you're going through something hard and you're able to go into the other room and write about what you're going through, or even write about stuff that's not about what you're going through, but it's,
but yeah,
helpful.
Absolutely helpful. Absolutely helpful.
How's everybody now?
Well,
Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was,
How are you doing?
Well, okay, good. It's, things are what they are, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's
That's why I like the night, right? That's why I like 2 to 4 a.m. because it feels like the rest of the world is done now.
I know.
And if you're still up,
I know.
You got a bit of a time to yourself.
I know.
Yeah. And that's when you made this stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I made it mostly starting at about 8 o'clock and then finishing at about that time. Yeah.
I bet it. So these aren't just songs for you, though, to work through things. I mean, I was reading comments, which I rarely do on YouTube, and I saw a lot of this kind of stuff. A lot of, like, Matt, you've gotten me through some hard times. This song may have saved my life today. That must be nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously, I mean, at first it's a pretty hard thing to, you know what I mean? You're like, wow. But at the same time, I think that, you do this for a long enough time, and you find that people, those people that have stuck with you over the decades, or that have even found you since, if you do write the kind of music that is going to be, that impacting on their lives, I mean, all you can do, and all in humility, is just go, it's totally my pleasure to have been able to do that, and that in itself is just the power of music.
I think, and have you figured out a way to make, I don't know how to put this. Have you figured out, I mean, you've been in the music industry how long now?
Like 28 years.
And I feel like you've always sort of known how to make your own path in music.
Mm-hmm.
When we talked about not going to the Junos, when we talked, even just when I would see you on Much Music when I was a youngster, giving an interview.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's, he doesn't really, he's there, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
He's not giving the answer that he maybe would make him look a certain way.
That's true.
He's doing his, publishing a book of poetry. He's doing all these things.
Yeah.
And I guess, but this record just sounded to me like a continuation of that. I kind of said it when you came in.
Yeah.
I said, this doesn't sound like, hey, I'm Matthew Good of the Matthew Good Band, so I'm going to make a record that sounds like, what you might remember.
Yeah, I didn't.
You just have never given it. What I'm trying to say.
It is very true. I've basically labored to write records that are different. I'd say the only kind of, and I won't call it a compromise, but after Lights of Endangered Species in 2012, which was a pretty big, corner turn, and pretty huge homage to my late cousin Mark Hollis. Like for those last two Talk records were like, they're my favorite albums. But after that tour, which is ironic because a lot of people have said that was one of their favorite tours, I kind of, the juxtaposition between that material and like playing like Load Me Up and that kind of thing, I kind of looked at the audience and I felt this weird unease about it. So I kind of knee-jerked when I wrote Arrows of Desire after that, right? I went back to kind of like, well, here's a rock record, right? And in truth, I probably should have kept going down the rabbit hole maybe a bit more. I'm not saying, right, something along the same veins as Lights of Endangered Species, but done something, maybe different than I did. But it all shakes out, really, in the end. And not only that, too, I think that you have to be honest with yourself and say that you're writing for a moment in time. And that as a writer, I mean, that's the thing about the business of music, right? There's so many people that get caught up in the fact of, will I ever get the chance again to make another album? And I don't ever look at it that way. I just look at it going, well, this is this one. The next one will be the next one, and for me, that's just the reality of it.
You might also have, one might also have, well, things went very well for me in the past making this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So if I want to keep the lights on, I might as well keep making that kind of thing because people seem to like it. That's something that drives some people.
That
right?
is true, but at the same time, it's bizarre, right? Because the two number one debuts that I've had in my life have been Beautiful Midnight and then Hospital Music. And how can hospital music's like almost an entirely acoustically based record as well.
Yeah.
Right. So that being the case, it's just like you can't paint it with just one color. But
I think that's what I love about this record.
Yeah.
Is that it doesn't sound. I mean, I said this to you when you came in. I don't know. I said to you, I don't know what I was expecting, but I really, really like it.
Yeah, it's good. Well, that's good. It's good to like the unexpected. It takes the pressure off.
Sam, can we go to the clip around 8? I want to talk a little bit about the old one of the old records.
I'm wearing the same grin. I take it all on the chin. I still believe everything that I read. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's harder. Sometimes it's on sale. Sometimes it never fails. Well, I have decided.
That is a bit of Symbolistic White Walls from the Matthew Good Band's debut album, Last of the Ghetto Astronauts, which turns 25 this year.
Yes.
What do you make of that?
The funny thing about it is, when I hear that song, besides cringing from kind of like the naivete of it, the funny thing I always remember is that those aren't electric guitars. That's acoustic guitar played through at Marshall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? You guys put acoustic guitars through?
I did back then. Yeah. That whole record, there's not a single real electric guitar on that record. It's all acoustic guitars through amps because prior to that, I only played acoustics.
Right.
So, yeah. And because of that record, I actually had to go and buy my first electric guitar, which was a 95 Tele, which I play to this day and has been on every record after that since I've ever made. So,
what do you mean you cringe at the naivete of it?
Every songwriter has that, man. Even stuff that's like not even that long ago, there's certain things you listen back to and you go, what were you really thinking there, buddy?
Some songwriters go, I wish I could go back to that. I wish I could go back to that naivete I had when I was 18 or 19 when I didn't know the... Some do, man. Some do.
No. I don't... That's something that I would never want to do. I don't think. I just, I don't know. There's a time and place for it all. I mean, I think that maybe when people say that they talk about more the energy and I guess the angst or whatever they had, you know, and it maybe poses a bit of nostalgia with regards to the fact that they miss that, and they're maybe not entirely comfortable with where they are at a certain age after that. And yeah, that doesn't really bother me at all, too. I'd rather, you know what I mean? I'm almost 50, and I'm perfectly happy being where I am. I wouldn't want to make Beautiful Midnight now. I don't have that in me, you know.
But it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know you very well, but it wouldn't have surprised me if you were the kind of artist who also said, I don't want to get up there and play any of those old songs anymore.
Well, yeah, but you know, the reality is that you have to be realistic in those situations. You have to play them, you know. And you know, the thing about it is that I don't necessarily sing them the same way. There's not the same grr about them, you know, there was before. But it's just something that, you know. And for a lot of it, like, you know, and like Hell Time Bomb and that kind of thing. I mean, the audience just sings the choruses and stuff. I just get the night off, right? So it you know, it works out well. So yeah, when it comes to that stuff, I'm not, you know, I mean. It's not like I'm not going to play Apparitions. I think I'd get chased out of town if that were the case, right?
I'd have a pitchfork by.
Exactly,
would, you know?
Exactly. There'd be torches and people in medieval hats waiting for me outside. Yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, there's certain things you kind of got to do, but you know, you balance that with every new record with, you know, having at least 5 or 6 new songs. Throwing in a couple fan favorites and stuff. It gets extremely difficult when you have a catalog my size to figure out what the hell you're going to do, right? And stuff, knowing how you've got to, you know, how many shows you have in a row and that kind of thing, and the fact that you're not going to play for 3.5 hours, or, you know, you're going to cap it at 2 hours a night or something like that, right? You got to watch it, right? You got to be careful.
You could go Springsteen and do 6-hour nights, though, you know.
Yeah, but he charges $500 a ticket.
There you go. There's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could. I mean, I could do that, but you know, I'd have 6 people show up.
That's right.
You know,
right. So that's the
all
thing.
comps.
That's the thing, right? I mean, he's got, like, you know, he's playing massive arenas, and it's like, you know, so it's like a whole different thing. But yeah,
I loved listening to your new record. I didn't get into it, but you know, I'll once we stop talking on this thing, I'll tell you more about it. But I went through a very similar, extremely similar situation to the one you're currently going through, and it was so nice to be able to listen to, even if the songs weren't explicitly about that, I could kind of put myself where I was and all the things I was feeling.
Yeah, meant in the same mental state. Yeah.
Can you think of records that have done that for you? Records that have helped you out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan.
That helped you out?
Oh, yeah.
Through the divorce and stuff?
Oh, no. I mean, just throughout my life, really. I mean, that's a record I always go back to in certain times. I mean, Spirit of Eden, Laughing Stock, Color Spring by Talk Talk.
Not just good records, but records that helped you out.
Yeah. No. Okay. So I have impeccable taste when I need things that help me out. Sweet.
You do?
You know, I don't know. Doolittle would probably be in there as well. You know, Pink Moon and Nick Drake.
I love that record.
Yeah,
so
I mean, so some Jim Croce probably throw in there as well. A lot of jazz as well and that kind of stuff. And you know, I'll never say no to some Explosions in the Sky.
No, why would you? Literally or figuratively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, it's that, you know, that kind of thing. Afghan Wigs.
If we were to go out on a song, one that maybe is not the single, but a song that maybe you'd like to get a little bit more attention on the record than maybe.
Parts.
Why?
There's something about that song. I wrote it near the beginning of the writing process for that album, and there's just, I don't know. It's just this, there's just something about it as the lyrical content and just the bareness of it that, I don't know.
What's it about?
It's just about kind of the realization that, things in life aren't permanent, and, and the inevitability is that, things are going to go, and you just have to, you can look back at the past, for example, but, and you'll always have that in your memory, but you also have to deal with the realities of what you have in front of you.
It's scary to let go of the rope, but once you do, it can be nice.
It can be.
Once you let go of the permanence rope.
That's the permanence rope.
Great prog record.
TM. Trademark.
Yeah, my favorite Yes album.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
You too, man. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you. Matthew Good has been with me. His new album, Moving Walls, is out now.